Hi guys, so this is going to be a short video to show you how to achieve the proper concentration of isopropyl alcohol, which is rubbing alcohol, which is the chemical name of rubbing alcohol, during this time of severe shortage. Now, as you're all aware, there's been a run on rubbing alcohol, there's been a run on hand sanitizer, there's been a run on a whole bunch of different things. So this is a way to stretch your supplies as much as possible in this time of great crisis. And the CDC recommends that a solution of at least 60% rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, is needed to kill coronaviruses, especially COVID-19, and other germs in general. So this video would also be useful during times of short supply in regular cough and flu season. So as you may have noticed, there's not a lot of normal strength isopropyl alcohol around. I was fortunate in that I have a full bottle of 70% isopropyl alcohol since before this whole crisis started. I was just lucky that way, which is also available in a 91%. If you have that, that's great. I can make another video on that. But this one is going to be on how to dilute down 70% alcohol when you've only got 50% alcohol, which they are now currently selling. As you can see, 50% alcohol. More and more these days because there isn't enough 70% alcohol or higher. So I won't bore you with the mathematical details, but just to briefly describe them, I've written the math out here on this card, and suffice it to say that in order to make an equimolar concentration, basically you need the right concentration of 70% and the right concentration of 50% mixed together, obviously to average out to be 60%. And the math turns out to be about 2.02 fluid ounces of each to achieve the right concentration. Now, I have a measuring cup here, and as you can see, it's labeled in cups. So I had to do another calculation, and the calculation here is that 2.02 fluid ounces of each solution is needed to be mixed together to get the right molar concentration, which happens to be 0.2525 cups, or just over a quarter of a cup. So what I'm going to do is, since I need to reuse this bottle, because everything including bottles is in short supply, I'm going to pour out whatever I have here, 50%, and as you can see I've got maybe a third of a bottle left. Whereas thankfully, I have a full and unopened bottle, thankfully, of 70% alcohol, which is more than the concentration needed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to empty out the bottle of the 50 first. And since we're not going to be working with any dangerous chemicals, this is obviously safe to do at home. So I have a clean little Tupperware here. I'm going to pour out the 50% and leave this aside for now. So I have the 50% in a little bottle here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to relabel the old bottle so I remember. So I'm going to quickly label it here, iso alcohol 60%, since that is the desired concentration. And that will go on the old bottle. So as I said, you need about 0.2525 cups, which is a little over a quarter of a cup of each. So I am going to pour 1/4 of a cup here, and a little bit more just to make sure I've got the concentrations right. So that's my 50%. All right. Now, I'm going to pour my isopropyl alcohol into a separate container. Thankfully, this one is also measured, as you can see, in cups and quarts. So I'm going to be pouring just a little bit of that there. So I'm opening up my 70%. I am piercing the bottle because it was brand new, thankfully. And I'm not going to be making more than 1 mole of 60% each. So I'm only going to pour as much as I can of the 70% because I want to save this brand new bottle that you just saw me open as much as possible. So I'm literally only going to make one mix. So I'm pouring a little bit here. Now this is a much bigger container, and it doesn't actually have a 1/4 cup marked on it. The smallest demarcation is 1/2 cup, so I'm going to have to just eyeball it. But that's approximately half of a, I'm sorry, that's approximately a quarter of a cup, as you can see here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix them together. Pretty simple. And then I'm going to repackage them in the old bottle of 50%. Now keep in mind that isopropyl alcohol, as you probably all know, is volatile. It evaporates very quickly, but you should be